those up. Now let me show you the difference now between the or and the and. So when we go to do the and, it means intersection, okay? So it means intersection, or what we're looking at is what did the graphs have in common? Okay, what do the graphs have in common? And the symbol we're going to use for it is a intersection symbol. It looks like that, okay? So you're going to see a graph that is going to look like the one up above because I'm looking at the intersection of two graphs. So what I originally had here would have been a graph going this way and a graph going this way. And if you look at it, this is all they have in common. That would be your final answer. Okay? So how would I write this as an inequality? Well, we usually write it as one thing. So we would say x is less than 5 and x is greater than or equal to a negative 2. Okay, that's one way. Or you could put it separate. X is greater than or equal to a negative 2 and x is less than 5. But most people, again, prefer to write it this way. Now, interval notation. Again, on your left, we're going to have a bracket at a negative 2, a parenthesis at 5 because it's open. And again, our set notation is basically just going to be a repeat of our inequality, except we put the x such that, and you could use either one of those. It does not matter. I'll go ahead and do the top one up there. Okay, so it could be, I'll go ahead and write them both. It could be either one. Okay, so either one of those answers would be acceptable. Okay, and so that is what they're talking about here on the next line. So again, my answer could be written as or we can condense it, okay, condensed form, which looks like this. And again, a lot of times we'll refer to this as the interval between, okay? So we could say the interval between negative 2 and 5, okay? And let's see, I put an equal sign there that I didn't need, so let me erase that. Okay? Okay, so let's look at some examples real quick. So I'm going to solve it. And I don't think you guys have any problems with the solving, so I'm going to run through that fairly quickly. It's more the graphing that is the issue here. And then I put the word and in there, or you again could use the word intersection. Okay, so now here's where this one becomes just a little bit more complicated unless you remember the shortcut. But if I graph it again, so I'm going to run a graph of it. X is greater than a negative 6. Okay, x is less than 4. Okay, and then the question is, where do you see both graphs? And so when you look at this, you only see both of them right here. There's my interval. Now, I have kids who just do that and they stop. That is not the answer, okay? You have to take off, okay? You need to take off the other parts of it here. Okay, now that just erased all the thing. So what I mean by that is you're going to take off those ends and just write just the interval. So it is the interval from here to there. Okay, so when I graph the two, if you graph that whole thing and you leave it, that is not the answer. So what this means is to satisfy both of these equations, both of them at the same time, I would only be able to choose answers from a negative 6 to 4. Now, when you look at this one up here, okay, I could choose a number greater than a negative 6, so I could actually choose like 8, and that would make that true, but it won't make the other statement true, okay? So again, this makes both equations true, okay? Both equations true. Interval notation, since they're both open, it's going to be a parenthesis at a negative 6, 4, parenthesis at 4, okay? So that is your ands. They're all going to look that way. I'll run through one more real quick, and then I'll be done. So I'm just going to -1, run through this really quick. Okay, so W is greater than or equal to 5. Sorry, less than or equal to. I'm not sure what I'm doing. Okay. There we go. And then I'm going to do my next one. Divided by a negative, so I got to flip my sign. Okay, so W, and again, we're going to put our word and in there. We're going to put, and that's just helping you to remember what graph you have. So we're going to put greater than the -8. And again, if you look, there's where they cross. Okay, so this in here would be my final answer. Don't extend it anywhere else. Okay, so I would suggest once you see that you be sure you make a final answer. Okay, interval notation, we're going to have an open circle at, whoops, my bad. Man, how many times have I screwed up here? We are at a -8 as being my left. So -8 and 5 is my other endpoint. Okay, so again, just a real quick, when we have ands, okay, they will typically, not 100% of the time, and we'll talk about some special cases, they will typically look like this. They're an interval. They're going together. We have 2 endpoints. If you have an or, it will typically look like this. Now again, there are special cases, and that'll be the next thing that we talk about.